All right, let's talk about studying. We're going to completely transform how you do it. Not by cramming more hours into your day, but by making every single minute you spend actually count. So get this. There's this true story about a college student, Jeanette. Her first quarter, not great. She got a D average. So for the next one, she decided to get super serious. I'm talking 6 hours of studying every single night with no breaks. You'd think her grades would skyrocket, right? Nope. She failed every single class. A 0.0 GPA. How is that even possible? It sounds totally upside down. How can putting in all that work, all that effort, lead to complete and total failure? Well, that paradox is exactly what we're going to unpack, because the answer shows how most of us have been taught to learn the wrong way.
Okay, let's just bust this myth of the marathon study session right now. We've all heard it. Just study more. But as Jeanette's story proves, that advice can be a total disaster. The actual science tells a very, very different story. It turns out our brains kind of have a timer on them. Research has shown pretty conclusively that for most students, that window of peak, high-quality, focused learning is only about 25 to 30 minutes long. After that, your ability to actually absorb information just falls off a cliff. It's not about how long you can last, it's about the intensity you bring to these short bursts. And this is exactly what happened to Jeanette. She had maybe 30 minutes of really good, efficient studying, but then she forced herself to sit there for another 5.5 hours, basically getting nothing done. But it's worse than just wasting time. She was actively punishing herself. She was teaching her brain to associate studying with misery, making it harder and harder to even start. So if that 6-hour death march is out, what's in? Well, it all starts with our very first pillar, managing your time and your energy. It's all about learning to work with your brain's natural rhythm, not fighting against it. Here's the game plan. It's so simple. You study with everything you've got for just 25 to 30 minutes. The second you feel your mind start to drift, you stop. That's the signal. Then you take a 5-minute break and do something genuinely fun. This isn't wasting time, you're recharging. That little reward is training your brain, telling it, hey, when we do this focus thing, we get a treat. And here's the kicker. When you're totally done for the day, all your study cycles are finished, you give yourself a big, pre-planned reward, something you can really look forward to, like watching a movie or playing a game. This is what builds a sustainable study habit that you don't actually hate. Okay, next up, Pillar 2, your environment. This might be the one that surprises you the most. Where you study can be just as critical as how you study, because your surroundings are constantly sending little signals to your brain. We think we're in control, but really our environment has a huge say in what we do. Think about it. You walk into your kitchen and you immediately think about food. You walk into the living room, you think about kicking back and relaxing. And when you walk into your bedroom, your brain thinks it's time to sleep. These connections are already hardwired. So what do you think happens when you try to study on your bed? You are literally in a wrestling match with your own room. The bed is screaming, "Sleep!" while you're trying to focus on biology. That's why having one dedicated spot, even just one chair in the corner of a room with one single cue for study, is an absolute game changer. Which brings me to this amazing experiment from the University of Hawaii. Researchers had students get a basic desk lamp with one rule. You only turn this lamp on when you are studying. The moment you start, the lamp goes on. The second you get distracted or take a break, the lamp goes off and you leave the desk. And the result of this one tiny change? It was insane. The students who used the study lamp raised their grades by 1 full GPA point compared to the students who didn't. 1 whole point, just by creating a powerful, unmissable cue for focus. So we've got the when and the where covered. Now for the third and final pillar, the big one. How to study. This is all about ditching passive habits and getting active with the material, because that's the only way to get information to stick in your long-term memory. This is probably the biggest mistake we all make. See, highlighting a book is passive. You look at it later and your brain goes, oh yeah, I've seen that before, I recognize it. But recognition is a trap. It's not learning. Real learning is recollection. It's the ability to pull that information out of your head without any cues. It's the difference between recognizing a face and remembering their name. So what does active learning actually look like? It's this simple. You read a bit, then you stop, you look away from the page, and you explain the concept out loud in your own words. Honestly, the single best way to learn something is to teach it, even if you're just teaching it to your wall or an empty chair.
If you can't explain it simply, you don't really get it yet. Now, that's great for big ideas and concepts, but what about just memorizing random facts? For that, we need a special tool, Mnemonics. These are just little tricks to create memorable connections that help you recall stuff.
Let's try one. Say you need to remember that there are 4 calories and a gram of carbohydrate. Well, look at the word itself, carbohydrate. What does the first part sound like? A car. And how many wheels does a car have? 4. Boom, carbohydrate, 4 calories per gram.
How about fat? That's 9 calories per gram. How do we remember that? Well, think of a fat cat. And how many lives does a cat have? 9. A fat cat has 9 lives. Fat has 9 calories per gram. Creating these weird little interacting images makes facts stick in your brain like glue. So we've covered a ton of ground here. How to manage your time, how to set up your space, and how to actually learn actively. But here's the thing. Knowing this stuff is useless if you don't do anything with it. And that really brings us to the core idea from Marty Lobdell, the psychologist whose work inspired this explainer. True learning isn't about what you know in your head, it's when that knowledge actually changes what you do. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. You don't have to do all of this tomorrow. Just pick one thing, just one. Maybe it's trying the 25-minute study cycle. Maybe it's getting a study lamp. Or maybe it's explaining a concept out loud to your dog. What's the one thing you'll change starting today to study smarter, not harder?